In the 1890s, the Hollywood Hills had their tops. There were no houses in the Hollywood Hills. There was no roads in the Hollywood Hills. All that was in Hollywood were Indians. The Yangna Indians, they would live here for maybe 20,000 years all along the coast. Part of them were right here in Hollywood in what we call Kmxt Pass. Was an area that had a lot of water in it. And they lived along Yangna Pass in huts like this, hay type things made of grass. They were around until maybe 1915, 1920. There's still some Indians around. Most of the time we tried to convert them into Christians, or we were kind of half enslaved them. So it was kind of terrible things we did to the Indians. This is the Indians. This is Yangna Pass in maybe 1880, 1890. You can see that's the way in and out of all of LA. It's Yangna Pass. It still is. But they used to try to dress the Indians and make them so-called civilized and so forth. But about that time, film was being invented. So along comes Cristie, a guy who decides to make movies. That Hollywood would be a good place to do it because with a lot of sun, and he needed a lot of sun to develop the film at 24 frames a second. So he started hiring crews of people and actors and actresses to make single reel movies. He used to make a movie a day right on the corner of Gower and Sunset in the studio there. It was the first studio. It was a bar, of course. So it was a bar, and all the actors and actresses, they hung out there, and that's where they worked. That was, of course, there was no sound then. It was the directors directed with loudspeakers and yelling and microphone thing. This is the studio. This is it. It's a bar. Notice the car, like 1950 car in the front. But at least it didn't have horses. A lot of times you see the horses. And this is the crew. This is the Nestor Company, Cristie Company, right there on the corner. And they kept growing and growing, making more and more movies all the time. Got bigger and bigger and bigger on that corner until they were bought up by Columbia Pictures. So Columbia, in fact, that's where Columbia CBS comes from in a way. That's because they went into radio. This is the actors and the people that worked for Cristie, and they made comedies, one-reelers. These are all the people. These are the camera crews, the production managers, and all the crew people. This is where we first started making crews, apple boxes and all that stuff. That's where the names all came from. This is one of their ads. Notice it says Columbia Pictures. So it was a Columbia picture. So Columbia was the original. Oh, this is Sunset Boulevard, right about a block from CBS, right along Beechwood there, Beechwood Drive and Gower, right in that area, around 1918. Then they after it burnt down, the place burnt down, they decided, well, let's build a studio. Let's build an AM radio station, because that was new, AM radio. So Columbia Pictures got into the radio business, built a 1,000-watt transmitter on their roof in this building, and it was a modern building for its time. Notice that microphone on the table there. That's really quite a thing. Well, it must be worth a fortune nowadays. So this is their transmitting room, of course, and it was all tubes. You can imagine giant tubes. The thing was all there with tubes, and so a couple thousand watts was, a lot of power. Transmitted all over LA. It's not stereo, though it looks like it has 4 channels. There's only one channel, AM. So big knobs that it kind of got that old-fashioned look to it. Now here's Cristie. They give him an award. They say you made the first motion picture, so we'll give you an award. We'll put a plaque on the place saying the first thing was here in 1911. So they put a plaque on the building to dedicate Hollywood. And here it was, CBS. It looks like a boat, that boat kind of looks like a boat. It has portholes. All the doors inside of it are all have portholes. And here's Bing Crosby sang White Christmas, and Everybody was on radio shows. It was radio shows, radio shows. This is the whole outside. You can see the old cars. The cars are all from the 30s, because this is a picture taken just when it was built. It's just an old built. People don't realize how old that building is. And of course, the top of it, you can see the portholes on the side of it. And it looks like a ship. In fact, it's supposed to look like a ship. It's like a top of an aircraft carrier or something. So it kind of looks that way. But people don't think of it as a new. They think of it as a new building. They don't think of it as something from the 30s at all. This is the interiors. The interiors were, of course, all modern. The lighting fixtures were all modern. The whole thing was a whole modern thing. And they bring in everybody. Here's their electronics room there. Oscilloscope. Nice. It has an oscilloscope. Hey. And they look like they were happy campers there. This is outside at nighttime. It had neons. They had neons lighted up. They were really proud of this building. I don't blame them. It was quite a building. And I mean, as far as style-wise and every kind of wise, it was ahead of its time. There's a picture here. I used to go in there and watch it. I was born in Hollywood, so I go to the shows here when I was a kid, ride my bike over, and there's my mother who's standing in front of CBS. So I should be there. I'm around somewhere. I'm running around because that's what I was doing, running around in all these places. And of course, there's Cristie. They put the Hollywood sign up. Was actually to sell land. They were still just empty. They took a football team. They decided to climb the mountain and put the sign up. So there was no roads there to go up there. So they actually climbed up the side of the mountain with all these people and made the Hollywood sign 50 foot tall. They actually drug it up the mountain and hung it up there, the Hollywood sign, the Hollywood land sign. It was a land sale to sell the land. Of course, there were no houses in. There's houses everywhere. There's roads all over it now. The top has been cut off. Was cut off by Don Lee because he was going to build the first radio station, AM TV station. So the top has been torn off. So the thing got old, and the Chamber of Commerce decided to do like they always do. They were going to tear it down to save it. So they wanted to tear the thing down, so they tore it down and got the movie stars to pay them $25,000 a piece to rebuild it. So they built a new sign, and they never made a deal. They didn't care about the old one. They gave the old one away. So in fact, there's a guy who has the parts to it. He's sells pieces of it. And of course, that's the new Hollywood sign now. They paint it and they fix it up. Of course, they've been painting the Hollywood sign, but they're ready to tear down the old studio that's been there for 100 years. It had every movie star you can think of in it, and other kinds of making. All the history, they're gonna tear it down and make condos, because that's how Hollywood works. It's sort of let's not save the history. Let's just screw everybody over and make land deals with the government and bring them in and make bad deals. So that's what they're doing. Here they're painting it. That was a good PR stunt for the paint company to paint the sign, make it look nice. But that's about as far as they're going to go. They've torn everything else down. They tore down the Brown Derby. They've torn down every kind of thing, every kind of Victorian, everybody's house. They've torn them all down. Just the bureaucrats have torn all the history out of Hollywood. They're turning Hollywood into Los Angeles, and they're killing the artists. Is what they're doing, but that's another story. The main thing is they're going to tear down the CBS now. They sold it to a developer in Vegas. He's got some plan to turn it into a condo, and he's going to take the building and do something with it. Whatever he does, he's not going to do anything that has to do with Hollywood or anything to do with the arts. He's going to build a condo and resell it, just like the previous owner, sell the property and make a deal with the government and blah, 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 blah. Same old bureaucratic crap that we get from them all the time. We can change it. We can change it if we just wake up and say, hey, this is our history. It belongs to the people. We're getting tired of all these developers screwing us over, shafting us. I mean, if Marilyn was here, she would be helping us. That's for sure. Thank you. And what they're doing in Hollywood is they're destroying history in Hollywood. Not just in the old town, they're destroying Hollywood history. And we need to save it. And what I'm going to do is I'm starting my own group. I want you to join to help me save Hollywood. I want you to come to Hollywood. I want you to help save Hollywood, help save our history. Because if you don't do it now, we're not going to have it. And get people like you who love Hollywood all over the world to do something about it. Because we can do something about it. We're the people. We made this happen. We bought all this junk from Hollywood and bought all these films and had them made here and did all the things and made all these people famous. Now's not the time to forget about it. Now's the time to remember. So we need to remember, and that's what this is about. Remembering. We're going to remember Hollywood together. And this is just the beginning, where we're going to have time after time, thing after thing, so that you'll learn new things, and all the things they did, building the first movie studio. The first movie studio exists, actually the place still exists at CBS. I can show you a plaque in CBS studios. This has a little plaque that says, here was made the first movie. The first movie was made there. They even put a damn plaque there. It's still there. The plaque is there. People don't even realize that the first movie was made there. The first studio was there. I show you pictures of it. You go, wow, that's the corner of Gower and Sunset. The corner of Gower and Sunset. And here's this old studio in 1918 or something. It makes you go, wow. So you're going to see all that, and you're going to be amazed. You're going to say, wow, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that it was old history. Of course there is. Hollywood started out, there was no film, there was no nothing. People came here to make movies because there was sunshine, a lot of sun. You needed a lot of sun, a lot of light, because you had to have 24 frames per second. You had to have high light to develop the damn film. So everyone said, oh, let's go to LA, we got more sun. So that's how it really started. Is we needed the sun. We needed to make a lot of pictures in the daytime and build stages, which were outdoors. And there's a lot of outdoor stages left here and there. On Santa Monica Boulevard, there's a few stages. 1916 stages built in 1916. They covered the roofs were made of glass. They had to cover them with tar paper because they couldn't take the glass out. That's how old the stages are. And they're still there. It's old 1915 silent stages sitting there. And someone's going to tear them down, or who knows what's going to happen. But nobody cares about the old stages. Nobody cares. And inside those stages, all the technicians have signed. You can go up in the rafters of the old studio, and up people have signed their name. Joe was here. I was the lighting man. I was so-and-so. They've signed pieces, little things up in the rafters that all the crew has signed stuff. People wrote their name and things and did stuff. We're going to see all that. We're going to finally see all that. We're going to wake up to that history is important to you because it's important to your life. If you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. You have to have a map, and that map has to contain the past and the future. Anyway, that's enough for now. Join me. Sign up for this thing. YouTube, they're doing a good thing for us to save old Hollywood. Get on the line with us. Hook up with us. Come to Hollywood. Make a stink. Jump on the bureaucrats. Learn about the history. Shaft these people. Don't let the artists have to win. The artists of the world have to win Hollywood. Art is our town. It's our town. We are the artists of the world, and they're not going to take our freedom away.